Okay, welcome back everybody to Love's Kitchen. I'm Deb Merton and today I have a special guest for you. His name's Jason and he's going to make some crack cookies, and believe me they are. They're just so good you can't stop eating them. So here's my friend Jason. Okay, I'm going to leave you guys, let him do his thing.
Alright. So as she said, I like to call these the crack cookies because once you taste one, you can't put the cookie plate back down. So, we're going to start with mixing our butters and our sugars. We have regular and brown sugar. And we're going to cream the butter with a secret ingredient here. It's the Jello Mix, vanilla flavoring. So you're going to use 2 sticks of butter, which equals a cup. Lots of butter makes the best cookies, right?
Alright. No margarine for us.
Right. Alright, so we've got our butter, we're going to mix our sugars. 1/4 cup of regular sugar, and then we have 3/4 of a cup of brown. So keep that in there. Take our pudding mix. Got all that mixed. Ready to go there. We're going to add our 2 eggs. 1, 2. Mix those in. So next we're going to prepare our oats here. So we have 3.5 cups of the rolled Quaker oats. We're going to take 1 cup and 1/4 cup of flour and mix that in there with the oats. And then we're going to take 1 teaspoon of baking soda and mix that in there. And then you'll just mix that all up. I like to mix the oats in a bigger bowl because this is where the full product is going to end up being. And we're going to be adding a few more different ingredients to this, so it does get pretty big. So this recipe is from my grandma's cookbook. I'm referring to her cookbook here. It's one of my favorite cookie mixes that she's done. I've just added a few of my favorite ingredients to it. So let's see, next we're going to prepare our nuts, which are the pecans. I like to get the chopped pecans, but you do want them a little bit smaller than they come, so I like to chop them up a little bit. I just put them in a baggie here. So it's going to be just 1 cup of the pecans. And then you take a rolling pin here, and just so they kind of crunch down into smaller pieces here. You can see now they're in finer pieces here in the bag. So I'll just take that and add them to the oats here.
Scrapes it all out.
Alright, yeah, you're right. It's a good tool there. So then we'll mix all that together there. You gotta kind of fold it into the oats because fold it across until it all kind of mixes together. And this will make your dough here. I'm getting tired. We're just about ready to add the best ingredients, in my opinion, which is going to be, now the original recipe calls for either butterscotch chips or semi-sweet chocolate chips, but I like both, so I put both in mine. Alright, that's good to go there. So by the end you'll have your nicely mixed up dough there. So we'll go ahead and add 1 cup of the Heath Bar Toffee Bits, 1 cup of the butterscotch chips, right, and 1 cup of the dark chocolate morsels. These are my favorite because they're a little bit bigger than the butterscotch morsels. Oh, 1 little one stuck in there. Alright, so we'll mix all this together here. Okay, so after everything's mixed together, I like to chill the dough for a little bit because the creamed ingredients kind of sit for a while you're mixing together the oats and the flour and stuff. So I let it sit in the fridge for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we'll continue from there. All right. So like I mentioned earlier, I like to call these my crack cookies, but the original recipe name for them is just an oatmeal chocolate chip or butterscotch cookie. I think crack cookie sticks a little better. Alright, so we'll start off, once everything's prepped for the dough, we're going to preheat our oven to 375. And we'll start to pan some cookies here. I like to do about a tablespoon size full, and then I roll them together with my hands just to make sure all the chips and the nuts stay nice and tight in there, and then I'll kind of flatten it out a little bit with my hand too, just to give it a little form. I'm panning them on some tinfoil covered cookie sheets, but if you have just a regular non-stick Teflon pan, that'll work just fine too. No worries about that. And when you make this recipe, it usually makes about, depending on the size of your cookie here, either 36 to 40 cookies, so it does make a bunch. It will last you, but you'll be happy for that. I leave about a ½ inch to an inch of space in between each cookie. They'll grow a little bit. So we've got them all panned here now.
And it actually comes out too?
Yeah, it actually comes out to about 48 cookies, so I got a little bit more. It is a lot in the cookie dough mix. So, we've got our oven preheated, ready to go. We're going to stick these in, and they'll cook for about 10 to 12 minutes. And about halfway through, about 6 to 6.5 minutes, we're going to go ahead and swap the pans from the top to bottom, bottom to top. So that way they cook evenly in the oven together.
I always feel like when you stand by the oven or you're watching the timer, Jesus is baking up the cookies.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I don't know why, I've always felt that way. And it usually does take longer.
The watch pot doesn't boil.
Exactly.
Right. That's true.
Yeah. So this is about after 14 minutes of baking at 375. Took about 2 minutes longer just due to the oven I'm using. Everyone's oven is different. So
We'll give them a try.